Goshyate yasya nagare rangayatra dine dine tamaham sirasa vande rajhanam kulashekaram kumbe punarvasu jhatam kerale cholapattane kaustubhanam dharadesham kulashekaram asray. Yesterday we learned this beautiful verse which where the Lord name is said to be the ultimate goal for that one can attain. The Lord's name can give all benediction that one aspires for, not only for one who is a devotee, even if you are not a devotee, a papi, even if he calls out the name of God accidentally, even he gets benefited. Many have gained great result by chanting the name of the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad, Draupadi, Valmiki, Gajendra, many great devotees. Not only great devotees, also great papi like Ajamila has benefited. In that verse, Arvar mentioned, therefore, I made a mistake by not doing this one in my previous life. Likewise, you do not make this mistake. Please use your tongue to chant Narayana Nama. Sriman Nama Prayochita Narayanakyam Kena Prapur Vachitam Papino Api Ha Na Purvam Vak Pravartana Tasminna Tena Praptum Garbhavasadi Dukkam. By chanting, we don't need to come back into the Garbham to take birth again in a mother's home. But knowing all this, I made a mistake, you don't make a mistake. Dukkam, that is the suffering and problems, are mostly common to devotees. One should always make sure they understand this one. Sometimes it is we see people who are not devotees, they are very happy. But then those who are devotees suffers. This is something we have seen from the Puranas. We have also seen in our dealings with devotees. We also see in our own life that it looks like I'm doing everything for Krishna, but I'm suffering more than those people who are not doing anything for Krishna, but they are very nice, very happy in their life. They're settled in their life. Therefore, we should understand this important principle, why the devotees suffer, why there's a dukkam and some problems or more problems for devotees compared to others. There are two important reasons that we need to know. One is that makes us to remember Krishna helplessly. Number one, when we have dukkam, when we have problems in our life, devotees immediately their mind goes to the lotus feet of Krishna. They remember Krishna. That's number one. Number two, Krishna doesn't want us to stay in this world for a long time, life after life after life after life after life, in a slow program. He wants to accelerate the program in such a way that we can go back to Him or come to Him quickly. The only way that that can happen is to drain our papam, all the sins that we have committed. It has to drain. Therefore, for these two reasons, we see devotees suffer. Therefore, devotees take this as an opportunity when suffering or a reversal happens in their life. They take this an opportunity to remember Krishna and be thankful to Krishna for helping to get back to Him sooner. That's an important message that's an important lesson that we all should learn. And that's exactly what Queen Kunti's prayer also. Vipadaha Shantatha Saswati Tatra Pratta Jagat Guruho Bhavato Darshanam Yat Syat Punar Janmam Na Vidyate Apunar Bhava Darshanam. Apunar Bhava Darshanam. Where she says, my dear Krishna, let there be a lot of problems in me. Let their problems, calamities come again and again in my life so that you can be with us. we can remember you. So that's the purpose of the problems that a devotee specialist goes through. So with that, we should remember to chant Krishna's name in a helpless mood. And if we don't chant Krishna's name, alas, as Arva says, we miss that opportunity. Na, purvam vak pravartana tasmin, tena praptum karmavasari dukkham. Then we have to suffer again, taking birth in some other womb. It could be a human body, human mother, or an animal mother, or a reptile mother, or any of these mothers. And again, we have to go through all those things. So we don't want to do all those things. Therefore, let's chant the name of Krishna, Narayana, Sriman Nama Procha Narayanakyam, Kena Prapur Vanchikam Papinoti. It even benefits the sinners. And why can't it benefit us? Today's verse establishes a very important principle of what real Vaishnavism means. Who is a real Vaishnava? Who is a true Vaishnava? Therefore, of these 40 slokas that we are seeing, learning, this slokas plays as a crown because it's established as a very important principle of who is a Vaishnava. When we ask this question, generally people say, I'm a Vaishnava. Well, what do you mean by Vaishnava? In the response we get is, I am faithful devotee of Vishnu. Therefore, I pray to Krishna, I pray to Narayana, I pray to Rama, I pray to Narasimha. I am a Vaishnava. I am a devotee of Vishnu. Therefore, I am Vaishnava. But according to Kulashekara, according to, you'll be surprised, or even according to Krishna, that person who calls himself to be a devotee of Vishnu is not a Vaishnava. This is an important lesson. Please pay attention to understand. Kulashekara is going to tell, Arvar is going to tell that one who claims himself to be the devotee of Vishnu is not Vaishnava. Then, what do you mean? Oh, yesterday we saw the conversation between Yamakinkaras and Yamadutas, the qualities of identifying Vaishnava. One should be tolerant, one should be patient, one should be kind to everyone, one should not speak harsh, one should treat everyone equally, one should be pure in mind. Are these the qualities of Vaishnava? Yes, these are qualities of Vaishnava, but even that is not the principal identification of what Vaishnava means. A devotee's maturity is based on this one principle that we are going to see today, whether he is really understood what Vaishnava means, Vaishnavism means. So in today's verse, we will learn that one, where it speaks about the greatness of Bhāgavata Kainkaryam. Kainkaryam means service. Bhagavat Kainkaryam means service to the Lord. Bhagavata Kainkaryam means service to the devotees of the Lord. Dhasanu, 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 das. So that is the principle. When one understands and lives according to this principle, then that person is called or understood what Vaishnava means, and he is the real true Vaishnava. With that said, let's enter into today's beautiful verse number 27. mat-janmanaḥ phalamidaṃ madhukaiṭabhāre matprārthanīyamadanugraha esha eva tvadbhṛtyabhṛtyaparicāraka bhṛtyasya idaṃ smara lōkanātha. A beautiful sloka, very beautiful sloka. Especially when you get a chance to speak in TikTok or any of those, if you're going to give a speech somewhere on a stage, your speech should be short, precise, and the words that you use should also be in such a way it is useful for the given short period of the time. If a speaker is keep on speaking the same thing, you have been asked to give a speech for 5 minutes. In the 5 minutes of time, Every time you repeat the same word again and again and again, or same statement again and again and again, you really did not make use of that 5 minutes of given chance to speak on a stage in front of hundreds and thousands of people. That tells that maybe you don't know what to speak, therefore you're repeating the same words again, or you're not prepared, or whatever it could be. But here, interestingly, the second half of the sloka is a repetition of one word several times. tvadbhṛtyabhṛtyaparicāraka bhṛtyasya bhṛtya idaṃ smara lōkanātha. You can see this bhṛtya 7 times. Bhṛtya. Maybe Alva doesn't know, or he's running out of words to use in a sloka. That's not the case. These are all great saints where they don't have shortage of words to glorify Krishna, to glorify anything for that matter. But is repeating this word several times means there's something very important. Half of the sloka is taken over by this word, means there is something very important message that Alvar is going to convey to all of us in this particular sloka. So, mat-janmanaḥ phalamidaṃ madhukaiṭabhāre matprārthanīyamadanugraha esha eva tvadbhṛtyabhṛtyaparicāraka bhṛtyasya bhṛtya idaṃ smara lōkanātha. Mat-janmanaḥ. Janmana means birth, my birth. Mat-janmanaḥ, my birth, or my purpose of my birth, purpose of me taking birth. Taking birth means in this world, right? So me taking birth, the purpose of me taking birth in this world, phalam, that is phalam, the fruit or fulfillment, idaṃ, that, oh enemy, a killer of Madhu and Kaitabha, that is Krishna, Vishnu killed Madhu and Kaitabha. Matprārthanīya means mat means my, prarthana means my prarthana, my prayers or my request is that matprārthanīyamadanugraha. Anugraha means mercy, causeless mercy, your mercy. Esha eva, that alone is needed. Now he is telling the purpose of me taking birth in this world, it will be fructified, will meet its purpose if my dear Lord, O madhukaiṭabhāre, O killer of Madhu, O enemy of Madhu and Kaitabha, if you satisfy my one prarthana, my one prayer by your anugraha, and Krishna is asking, what is that anugraham you want? What is that? You've been asking so many things, but what is that you want now? What is that special anugraham you want? Now Alvar is saying, tvadbhṛtyabhṛtya paricāraka bhṛtyasya bhṛtya. 7 times he uses. What he's saying is that my tvad, your bhṛtya means servant. Bhṛtya is servant. Your servant, okay, that's fine. Then what? Bhṛtya, your servant. Paricāraka also means servant. It's a different word, but the message is the same. Bhṛtya means servant. Paricāraka means actually one who attends, one who helps, one who does services. In other words, is a servant also. So, tvadbhṛtya, paricārakas, and then bhṛtyasya, servant of servant, bhṛtyasya, servant, bhṛtya, servant. So 7 times he uses this word bhṛtya, 7 times. Iti, in this way, please let you remember, and therefore mam smara lōkanātha. Let me always be engaged in the worship and service of your servant, of servant, of servant, of servant, of servant, of servant, of servant, 7 times. That's the sloka. Beautiful sloka. Mat-janmanaḥ phalamidaṃ madhukaiṭabhāre matprārthanīyamadanugraha madhukaiṭabhāre esha eva tvadbhṛtyabhṛtyaparicāraka bhṛtyasya iti imam smara lōkanātha. O enemy of Madhu and Kaitabha, O Lord of the universe, please make my life perfect. This is another. Make my life perfect by your most cherished mercy, the best mercy that you can give, by showing me or making me the servant of yours, your devotee. That is the message. So one who understands that I am Vishnu Bhakta is not a devotee, whereas one who understands I am devotee of Vishnu Bhakta, I am devotee of Vishnu is a real Vaishnava. That is a real Vaishnava. He is a real Vaishnava. If at all Krishna, if at all you want to do something good for me in my life, get me a job, get me a wife, give me a child, give me a green card, give me a stability in my life, whatever, give me retirement program, give me promotion in my job, give me name, fame. I don't want any of those things. But if at all you want to do something good for me in my life, in this very life, make me a servant of your servant. That is the greatest anugraham. That's the greatest thing that you can do. Your anugraham is that you remember me always. Now Krishna is telling, I should remember you always. Yeah, I can remember you always. You're my devotee. You're chanting my names every day. Therefore, no. Don't remember me as your devotee. I don't want you to remember me as your devotee. What? Really? You know that if I don't remember or I don't see you as my devotee, then you can never get liberated from this world. I don't worry about that. Do not remember me as your devotee. Then how do I have to remember you? You remember me as your devotee's devotee. Seriously? Why can't I remember you as my devotee? And how great is that I should remember you as my devotees. There's a big reason behind it, but just remember me as that. In this way, there's a guarantee that I will come to you. If I am your devotee, there is certain uncertainty that whether you will accept me or not. But if I am your devotee's devotee, there is no question about it. There is no question. You will definitely accept me. I'm pretty sure. In fact, the Ashtakshara mantra that we learn, Namo Narayanaya, with a pranavam in the front, Namaha, Namaha. I am not for me. Namaha, Om Namaha, Namo Namaha, Narayanaya Namaha. This Namaha word is like a special jewel which can be combined by the previous one, to the later one, and by itself is a special one. You have a beautiful haram. Haram means a necklace. The necklace has in center it has a money. It's very special chuda money. We also saw Krishna as a money, right? So he has a special money in the center, right? Likewise, this Ashtakshara mantra that Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Narayanaya, in the center there is something called Namaha. Om Nama Narayanaya. This center one is Namaha is so very important. This Namaha can go with this left side haram, or it can go with the right side haram, or the money itself in the center is special. That is how this Namaha Shabdam is. Om Namaha, Namo Namaha, Narayanaya Namaha. This is an important message. That means Om Namaha, it tells us that I am not independent. I am dependent. That is, it tells us our real identity is that we are not for ourselves, we are for Krishna. That is what this Om Namaha means. I do not identify by myself to be an independent person or Jivatma besides anyone else. I'm on my own. No one else to question me, no one else to oversee me. I'm not dependent on anyone. That is a wrong idea. Whereas this Namaha Shabdam, Om Namaha means that I am Paratantriyam. Paratantriyam means I am not Swatantriyam, I'm not Swatantran, I'm not independent, I am dependent. I am dependent on the Supreme Lord Paramatma, Ishvara, Bhagavan. That is the meaning of Om Namaha. Namo Namaha means Namo Namaha means nothing can be an means, nothing can be an nothing can be a marga to attain the Lord. I can try this one, I can try that one. None of these things can be a upaya. That's the right word, upayam. Nothing can be a upayam. Nothing can be a means to attain the Lord. The means to attain the Lord is the means to attain the Lord is the Lord Himself. In other words, nothing can protect me. The only one who can protect me is Krishna. So Namo Namaha Upayam. Narayanaya Namaha. Narayanaya Namaha means my only existence for me is to not to satisfy my senses, not to satisfy my ego, not to satisfy myself. It is to satisfy Purushottama. Purushottama. It is just to satisfy Lord Narayana. So therefore, Namaha Shabdam conveys three important messages. Number one, that I am not for me. My existence is for Lord Krishna. I am dependent on Him. Second one, I cannot become, nothing can become an upayam. Nothing can become a means to attain the Lord. I cannot be myself as a mean to attain the Lord. The upayam, the means to attain the Lord Himself. That is Sharanagati, that is Prapatti. Prapanna, a surrendered souls, always consider Krishna as the only means by which I can attain Krishna. That is second understanding of Namaha Shabdam. The third thing is Narayanaya Namaha means the only purpose is to serve Krishna, Purushartham. The Purushartham, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, right? Dharmam, Artham, Kamam, and Moksha. This is for Purushartham. But for the devotee, the greatest Purushartham is to be engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, Kainkaryam. It is not my thing is not to well settle in Aishwaryam or in liberation. I don't want to focus on the wealth of this world. I don't want to focus on merging with the Lord. Any of those things. My existence, Namaha, Narayanaya Namaha means my existence is to simply serve the Lord. Service is my only goal. So this is an important message where Namaha Shabdam represents, and the Sloka is all about telling us that the purpose of our existence is to serve the Lord. But serving the Lord is one step. Beyond that is serving the devotees. The beginners who come to the temple, they only pray to Krishna. But then once we become strong in your devotional practices, once you understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, then what happens is the Krishna becomes secondary, devotees become primary. Deities become secondary, devotees become primary. That means serving the devotee, tvadbhṛtyabhṛtyaparicaraka, bhṛtyasya, iti smara lōkanātha. Serving the devotees becomes a priority. So there's another Alvar of 12 Alvars by the name called Nammalvar, who's considered to be the head of all Alvars. He says the same thing. Kulashekara Alvar, Nam Alvar, both are Alvar. Alvar means one who was captivated the Lord by their love. Alvan, one who was captivated the Lord by their love. Therefore, they are called Alvars. They can rule over the Lord by their love. The Lord Himself becomes the devotee of His devotee, Bhakta Vatsala. He becomes devotee of His devotee because of their love, because they don't know anything else other than Krishna. If you don't know anything, if you don't know anyone else, you don't consider anything else greater other than Krishna, then Krishna is going to be sold out for that person. Therefore, Alvars are such a great personalities where Krishna is being controlled by their love. Likewise, one of the Arvar by name Namma Arvar said, Adiyar, Adiyar, Tam Adiyar, Adiyar Tamongale, Adiyar, Adiyar, Tam Adiyar, Adiyongale. Adiyar means servant. Bhṛtya means servant. Exactly the same thing. Kulashekara uses servant 7 times. Nammalvar in his pasuram says Adiyar, 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 Adiyar. He also says this 7 times. Let me be a servant of servant of servant of servant of servant of servant of servant. Well, why only 7? It's just because it is not that they cannot write 70 times I am servant of servant of servant of servant of servant 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 70 times. It's not that they can't write 700 times. It's not that they can write 7,000 times. The idea is the 7 represents the more 7, you can take it into 7,000 or 7 million. The more you become the servant of 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 servant, the more you get attention of Krishna. But in the usage of the sloka, there's a limitation. Chandas, there are different chandas are there. Based on the meter, based on certain limitation has been given by the grammar, by the chandas, you can usually only use that many words. That's a limitation. But otherwise, Arvars can write throughout. They can keep on writing. Let me be servant of 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 servant of. It can go on like this. But that's a limitation. Therefore, we should understand that the greatest thing is to be called oneself as a devotee, is to be the devotee of Krishna. You please multiply the devotee of devotee into several devotees. That's we are doing. There's another Arvar by name Madhurakavi Arvar. So this Madhurakavi Arvar is a disciple of Nammalvar. This Madhurakavi Arvar says that I don't even know who God is. I don't even know who Krishna is. I only know you, my dear Lord. He's talking this to, he's writing is Kannanin Chiruthambu. That's a beautiful 4,000 pasurams written by the 12 Arvas. There's one set of pasuram written by Madhurakavi Arva. Madhurakavi Arvas by birth, he was a Brahmana, whereas Nammalvar by birth, he was not born in a high-class family, not a Brahmin family, low family. But then Madhurakavi Alvar accepted Nammalvar as his guru. And Madhurakavi Alvar says that I don't know who God is. The only God that I know is my Acharya, my guru, that is Nammalvar. That does not mean to say that he's an atheist, he's something different. It's not. We should understand that how a disciple should consider his guru as good as God. Definitely, Madhurakavi Alvar knows, we know, everyone knows, guru is not equal to God, but is as good as God. That means he's a representative of God. Right? Therefore, Madhurakavi Alvar says that there's a benefit. Madhurakavi Alvar says there's a benefit of being a devotee of a devotee of a devotee than being devotee of Krishna directly. It's always there's an advantage of being a devotee of a devotee rather than being devotee of a Krishna. For example, the great souls, great souls, they may be a devotee of Krishna by giving up the attachment of this worldly things. Like for example, the higher enjoyment than this enjoyment of in this world is to go to heavenly planet. In the heavenly planet, the enjoyment are much more greater. Yeah, it's much more great. Everything is, 100% more, you can say, or 99% more, whatever it is. I not been, so I don't know. But you can find Urvashi, Rambha, Tilotama, and all this great, not great, all this wonderful, beautiful looking damsels, and the lifestyle is so rich over there, full of enjoyment. But the sage, they give up the enjoyment of heavenly planet and surrender to Krishna. Surrender to Krishna. If one fails for some reason or the other, they cannot attain Krishna, they have to fall down to the next one, which is heaven. They have to fall down to the next one called heaven. Because they crossed the heaven and gone to Krishna, they're going to Krishna. For whatever reason, they couldn't reach Krishna, they will fall to the heavenly planet. Again, that's a problem. Once you get to the heavenly planet, it is not, life is not easy. Because it's so nice, you like to settle down. Even most of us, we feel like, oh, my life is settled. Everything is going very nicely. I wish my life goes on like this for the rest of my life. Right? So people, if everything is going nice and very wonderful, then why don't we stay here forever? Likewise, if heaven is a nice place, we'll just, why don't we stay there for a long period of the time? Therefore, one who is able to pass through the desire to be in the heavenly planet and be Krishna devotee, when they misses the opportunity to attain Krishna, they may fall down to the next level, which is heavenly planet. They may stay there and start enjoying, but that is dangerous. Therefore, the better thing is, better than that is to be the servant of Krishna. In that way, if at all Krishna does not accept us, devotees will accept us, who's our next level. There is no question of Krishna not accepting us if we are devotee of Krishna. But just for the argument's sake, if at all for some reason we couldn't attain Krishna, we will not fall onto the heavenly planet, rather we'll fall into the hands of devotee. When we are falling in the hands of devotee, then our life is again assured. We may miss in what, and for some reason we may miss an opportunity. But now we are not in heaven, but we are in the hands of devotees. When we are in the hands of devotees, then we are safe. When we are safe. And another reason why it is better to be servant of Krishna rather than servant of Krishna directly, it gives, the important thing is that is, Krishna is the cause of two things. There are two things which is Krishna's cause of. Hetu. What are the two hetus? What are the two causes that Krishna does? One is Krishna, the hetu cause for what we are going through in our life, in as known as karma. And the second is moksha hetu. Krishna, again, this whatever we are going through in our life is because of our karma, and the karmas are remembered by Krishna, and that Krishna who remembers all our karma will make us give birth into this world and let us go through and exercise our karma. Therefore, Krishna is, one way we can say Krishna is cause of my birth, Krishna is cause of my karma hetu. And it's the same Krishna who is also the cause for us to be delivered from this world. Even though Krishna puts us into this world for us to go through the karma, it is same Krishna who is also the cause for us moksha hetu. So Krishna has two responsibility, karma hetu, moksha hetu. Now, when it comes to excuse me, when it comes to Krishna, when it comes to devotees, bhṛtya, adiyon, when it comes to bhṛtya, devotees, he is only cause of one thing, not the other thing. That is, devotees are not cause of karma hetu. Devotees are cause of only one thing, which is mokaika hetu. Only one thing, mokaika hetu, only moksha. Devotees becomes a cause of deliverance of the devotee. Of course, Krishna is the one who's going to give the deliver. Krishna is the one who's going to deliver us, give us moksha finally. But then, who becomes a cause of me to be delivered, where Krishna can accept me, is the devotee. Therefore, the advantage of becoming worshipping devotees, becoming servant of devotees, is much greater than being servant of Krishna, because Krishna puts us into this world, we suffer. And Krishna takes us away from this world, so we can be liberated. Whereas when we surrender to devotee, they do not put us into this world for us to suffer. Their only goal is to let this conditioned soul be delivered from this world. Let me pray to Krishna, this devotee be liberated from this world. Krishna, please save this person. Krishna, this person is going through sufferings in this life. Krishna is having this problem. Krishna, make him a devotee. Krishna, help him do this way. So devotees only cares about the welfare of the devotees. Krishna, devotees only care for the welfare of the devotees. Devotees do not care for devotees' karma. Krishna is such a person, when he gets upset, he can also push us through the lower species of life. And Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita, he tells us, if you do not follow my instruction, I'll push you into this lower species of life. I'll make sure you born into the species where you don't remember me. Krishna does all these things. But devotee does not say, devotee does not do such things. Therefore, being a servant of servant is safer than being the servant of Krishna. That's one thing. The second reason is that whatever Krishna can do by appearing himself into this world and taking different avatars and different things, but still Krishna is Krishna. That category of God being God is not going to change. His jati, is Ishvara. His jati is Ishvara. But our jati or our category that we belong to is Jiva Tattva or Jivatma. God is never ever going to become Jivatma. The Jivatma never ever going to become Bhagavan, Paramatma, or Brahman, or whatever, however you want to classify the absolute truth as. Therefore, Jivatma will remain as Jivatma. Paramatma, when I say Paramatma, please understand Paramatma when I'm freely using these terms, but Paramatma, Bhagavan, Brahman, I just combine everything to mention that one Ishvara, that is Krishna. Right? Do not pick on me saying that this is Paramatma, is that is meditated within the yogi. Why you're telling Paramatma? Higher than Paramatma is Bhagavan. Why are you not using Bhagavan terms? Please do not get into this terms and technical things. For me, when I'm saying, just understand Paramatma, Bhagavan, just one and the same for this context. One and the same just for this context. Of course, there are differences in the way it. Please allow me to speak in a way that really I can express some of these points here. Don't get into debates. So the Paramatma category, Bhagavan category can never become Jivatma category. Jivatma can never become Paramatma or Bhagavan. Therefore, there's always a gap and difference between us and God. Therefore, always a difference between us and God. God is God, we are we. Therefore, for us to connect with God sometimes or many times is difficult. But for us to connect with devotee, servant of Krishna is very easy. It's very easy. Therefore, one of the qualities of the devotees that we need to understand is accessibility. We have to make ourselves accessible to devotees. If we restrain and restrict ourselves that I am so and so, don't talk to me. You know who I am? I am whatever the position that we may hold in the society, right? I am the temple president, I am the GBC, I am the Acharya, I'm the founder. So take an appointment and come. One of the qualities of the devotee is making ourselves accessible to the people who need us at times. That is why we want to have devotees association. We cannot have this with Krishna. It is difficult. We cannot have with Krishna, I want to talk to you. Can you come over here? Krishna is not going to come. But Krishna has given so many of his devotees to us where we can approach them. Therefore, Krishna, for him to understand, I shouldn't say this one, but there is one Tamil movie song where this poet says is God has to be born as a human to understand the human's problem. He doesn't understand. Again, that movie. Do not get into the details of this one. This poet is right. The poet is writing that God doesn't understand my problem. He has to be born as a human so that he can also go through loss of everything and struggle and pain and everything, where he can understand what this human life is. So he doesn't understand. So that's how he ends. He says this one, but anyway, it's the same point here. The point is God cannot understand, but the devotees can understand the struggle, the true struggle that the other fellow peer or devotees are going through in their life, going through the struggles that they are going through in life. Therefore, one who can easily understand our problems are the devotees. Therefore, being the servant of devote Krishna is much more beneficial for us to express our problems. It takes some guidance, take some advices, and so forth. It's always beneficial in that way. With devotees, we can easily share our problem. Of course, we can also go and share with deities also. The previous ex-temple president of Dallas is Nityananda Prabhu. One time, I remember he was saying that in a leadership call, all the GBCs and temple presidents were gathered, that he was present there. He was saying that whenever I have a problem, that being a temple president is always a problem. It's not an easy thing. Being in a leadership position is always a problem, because not everyone is going to appreciate you. There will be people who are always going to say something or the other bad about your service. It's guaranteed. That is how the leadership roles are, right? But nevertheless, Nityananda Prabhu was thinking that something was happening in his thing, when he was just helplessly thinking what to do. He goes to Radha Kalachandji, the beautiful deities over here in the Dallas temple. So he sits in front of them and cries and talks to the deities. He just, my dear Krishna, my dear Radharani, my dear Radha Kalachandi, please, I don't know, this is a problem that I'm facing now. I don't know. He started talking to the deities and crying to the deities. And interesting and guaranteed enough, the deities reciprocate. He gets some ideas, he gets some solution, or the situation totally changes the next day on his favor. So this is something, sometimes it doesn't change. That is also, sometimes Krishna reciprocates, sometimes Krishna let things happen for that devotee's benefits. Always it's not that we pray to Krishna and all our prayers has to be fulfilled, because we have our agenda, Krishna has his agenda. And when we have our agenda, we only see our short-term program. When Krishna puts an agenda in our life, he thinks for us in the long term, which benefits us. Therefore, let Krishna take over in our life. Anyway, coming back to this one, there are devotees who can talk to Krishna. But how many times that Krishna is reciprocating to us? But then when we to go and talk to the devotees, Prabhuji, Mataji, I'm having this problem. I don't know what to do. I'm going through this one. And devotees are going to not stand like this. They will respond. They will react. You can see their eyes. You can see their words and feelings. They're carrying, everything can be seen from the devotee. Therefore, Paramatma is in a different category. Jivatma or the devotees are in a different category. Therefore, taking shelter at the feet of the devotees is always safer. That's second point. The first point is to understand that we are all servant of Krishna. Krishna is cause of two things, karma hetu, moksha hetu, where devotees are only cause of mokshaika hetu. That's one point. Second point is Paramatma is a different category, Jivatma is different category. Jivatma is different category. Therefore, devotees are fall into the Jivatma category who can understand my problem more than Krishna who can understand my problem. Third point is when we take a plate of Chapanbhog, you take all this made wonderful items, especially it's made for Jagannath, all this 56 item or 108 items, whatever you make, you take all the items in front of the Lord and keep it in the front of the Lord. You offer all the prayers and then close the door, you come out and then go inside. What do you see? What do we see? Whatever we kept over there, however you kept over there, everything is untouched in a sense. They're as is. There's nothing is, there is no that one samosa is missing, one 5 idlis are missing, 2 chutneys are cups are missing. You see everything back there. It's just right there. Right? And then if you buy a beautiful dress for the deities, you buy the dress according to what you like and you just put the deities. And do you see deities are just like that? Jagannath is always like this. Whether you give the dress, whether you give bhoga, whether you do put jewelry, you do aharati, you don't do aharati, is always like this. You don't know whether he is really appreciating or is not appreciating, is liking or disliking. We have no idea what God in going through. But then when we take a plate of prasadam in front of a devotee, when you keep the plate in front of the devotee, go for 5 minutes and come back, plate is empty. Not even a grain is left over there, completely empty. Deity will keep the plate as is, devotee will empty the plate, which makes us joyful. Which is when especially when you're giving something to someone, when they start using that one, it makes us joyful. We want to give more. We want to give more. Oh, whatever I'm giving, this person is taking and accepting and is liking it, enjoy. When we see someone is accepting our gift, so this is another important message. When someone is giving us a gift, no Prabhu, no Mataji, it shows your humility. That is very good. But then also there's another thing. By taking the gift has been given by another devotee with gratitude and appreciation is also one service to the devotee. Please understand, you may not even thought about in these angles. Why are you doing this to me? I don't qualify to have this. This is all wonderful, really wonderful. That mood should be there. But if someone is coming and giving you a devotee, please take this one. No, 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 no. I don't want this one. Well, you can do that one also. But then when you're going back home, you must be thinking, oh, why even I told no to that gift? It was a very nice one. I should have just accepted it. So you may have the thoughts. Rather, you get by accepting the gift that given by another devotee, you're serving the devotee by accepting the gift. Therefore, please understand this one. Only in the relationship with the devotees, we can experience this love of this exchange of love. You giving a gift and accepting a gift. You are talking something in confidence, and that person is confidentially having some conversation. This is exchange should happen between the devotees. Whereas this can happen only to some exceptional devotees, where they have fed the Lord, they have played with the Lord, they've chatted with the Lord, they've fanned the Lord, they've done all those things with the Lord. But they're exceptional devotees. Unfortunately, that we are not exceptional devotees. Therefore, for most of us, the best way is to serve the devotees. Serve the devotees. There, it is not only what I'm just saying here with little understanding. This is also confirmed by the greatest of greatest Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. Means Shambhu is Lord Shiva, Rudra Shiva. He himself says that it is best आराधनानां सर्वेषां विष्णुर आराधनं परं तस्मात् परतरं देवी तदीयानां samarsanam. Yeah. Tadiya means devotees. Tadiya means devotees. My dear Devi says to us, beautiful concept, Parvati Devi. He said, my dear Devi, although it is great to be a devotee and worship Vishnu, as Veda says, as everyone greatly says, as being devotee of Vishnu is great, but let me tell you, Tasmat Paratram Devi Tadhyanam Samarsanam. He says that, but greater than being the devotee of Vishnu is to be the devotee of Vishnu. Rendering service to Vishnu is great, but Aradhanam, greater than that Aradhana, Vishnu Aradhanam, Tadyaradhanam means serving the devotee is much more superior and greater. Parattaram means is greater than Vishnu Aradhanam. Lord Shiva says, who else can be the greatest one who can talk about service to devotees, worshipping devotees? Therefore, understanding from this is that, and what we understand from this is that being servant of worshipping the devotees of Vishnu is considered to be a greatest thing that we can do in our practice of Krishna consciousness. Understanding that servant is greater. Bhṛtyabhṛtya, bhṛtyaparicaraka, bhṛtyasya, bhṛtyasya, idaṃ, smara. smara lōkanātha. One can easily become devotee of, here's the problem. The problem is that it is easy to become devotee of Krishna. It is easy to become a devotee. One day or the other, we may understand the philosophy and we understand we are Jivatma, God is Paramatma, God is we are part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is inside and outside of everything. He is a controller, he is a maintainer, he is a destroyer. No one equal to me, no one superior to, no one equal to him, no one superior to him. Everything we can understand. Therefore, for us to become devotee of Krishna is not a hard part. But the real challenge is to become a devotee of 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 Krishna. To become a servant of Krishna is easy, but to become the servant of Krishna is difficult. We can keep on speaking about how great it is to be the Bhagavata Seva, how great it is to worship devotees, how great it is to be servant of servant. But then when it comes to practicality, we all like to be servant of Krishna directly. But then for us to be the servant of Krishna, there is something which is blocking us. There is something which is stopping us to accept that particular principle. What is that? Because when we apply that principle, we start saying, hey, he is also working like me. He is also eating like me. He is also wearing dress like me. He is also having wife. She is also having husband. He is also having children. He is also paying mortgage. He is also exactly like me. How is he greater than me? What is that? What makes him better than me? I am and he are equal, man. Right? So that's where the ego, ahankaram comes into the picture, to accept the other devotees as our master. Therefore, we have to understand, as long as we have this ego, it is very hard for us to become the servant of even one person. It is very difficult. But then when we go, it's very easy to become servant of Krishna, because Krishna doesn't do anything. Krishna doesn't put us into any services. Krishna doesn't ask us question. Krishna does not challenge us. Krishna does not, hey, Prabhuji, why are you doing this one? We cannot touch our ego. He doesn't do any of those things. He is just happily standing there and playing flute. Therefore, it's easy for us to be servant of Krishna. Whereas when we get engaged in serving the devotees, challenges come. It's naturally challenges will come. But then we should understand and have this idea that challenges are for me to remove my ahankaram, my ego that I've been having all this anadikala janmam that I am great. But actually this devotee made me think I am insignificant, I am useless, I am waste, I am nothing. I'm nothing. So this devotee made me think like that. He gave me an opportunity to work on rectifying my mistakes and wrong understanding as how I am. Rather, I'm simply an insignificant servant of. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that he doesn't say this. Yeah, he says this one. It quotes this particular sloka, ye me bhakta janaha partha, name bhaktas chate janaha, mat chaye bhaktaha, teme bhakta tamamataha. He says this is actually the word of Krishna. This appears in Adi Puranam. In Adi Puranam, Krishna says this to Arjuna. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So what Krishna says to Arjuna is, those who are roaming in the world, calling themselves, I'm Krishna devotee, I'm Krishna devotee, I'm Krishna devotee, ye me bhakta jana partha, name bhakta chate janaha. He said, those who are roaming in the world, calling themselves, I'm Krishna's devotees, I'm Krishna devotees, actually they are name bhakta, they are not my devotees. They are not my devotees. Those who are simply calling themselves devotee of me, Krishna devotees, are not my devotees. Really? Krishna, why you say this? Well, wait. Mad bhaktānām chaye bhaktāha teme bhakta tamamataha. But then those are my devotees who call who call themselves to be my devotees' devotee. Krishna says this to Arjuna. Krishna himself says this to Arjuna, that those are the only devotees who are my devotees. Otherwise, no one can be my devotees. Those who are calling themselves to be the devotee of myself directly are not my devotee. By serving devotees, we can properly understand the sambandha jnana, the relationship that we have with Krishna. What is that relationship that I have with Krishna? If we don't understand the sambandha relation, then there won't be any development of love and devotion and bhakti or devotional service that I want to perform to Krishna. Excuse me. Therefore, by serving devotees in a humble state of mind, by inquiring devotees in a humble state of mind, one can understand. One can really attain the proper knowledge of Sambandha Jnana. Through the Sambandha Jnana, one can develop bhakti, devotion. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattva darshanaha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, therefore serve the devotee. By serving the devotee, by engaging in a menial service, inquiring them inquiring them about, submissively inquiring them about the truth and rendering service unto them, you will cultivate knowledge and you will be able to see the truth by yourself. But where it has to start? It has to start pariprashnena, tad vidhi pranipatena, by engaging in the service of the devotees, by engaging in the service of the devotees, by engaging in the service of an acharya, a guru, one can attain the truth. One can understand the truth and attain the absolute truth. Now, it is true to understand that, it is true that we should understand that it is only by the recommendation or by the reference that given by the devotees that Krishna is going to accept us. Is not otherwise is going to accept, is not going to accept us otherwise. If we become a favorite of a devotee, abhiman, this is called abhimanam. Abhimana means I have some liking on this person. He is very good person. That abhiman should be there on that person. When we become a favorable person or a favorite of a devotee and the devotee is pleased by our service, and Krishna will be pleased. Krishna will be pleased. This is an important thing that we should understand. Why? Because we have lost our favor from God. Because of our ahankara, because of our mamakara, because of our krodha, karma, and all this, because of all these things, we started thinking that we can save ourselves, we can be better than ourselves, we don't need the help of God. We don't need any help of God. Therefore, God has lost hope on us. God has lost hope on us because we started thinking, I can be on my own. I don't need any help. So we lost the Ishvara Abhiman. Ishvara Abhiman, we lost the favor of God. Therefore, the only thing is that because we lost the favor of God, we have to get someone's favor. God, Krishna turned away from us because the way that we behave, because the way that we have been thinking of how great we are, the God has turned away from us. God has turned away from us. The only way that we can get the attention of God back to us is by becoming or worshipping the devotee of the Lord, by becoming the servant of the Lord. By doing this one, Lord's face will turn towards us. Lord's face will turn towards us. He'll become very happy. Well, now that he has become my devotee's devotee, therefore I will accept him. Otherwise, he's not going to be accepting us. He'll be in angry mood. He's always in an angry mood. One may think that, what is the necessity of having someone in the middle? Why can't I worship God directly? The reason we cannot worship God directly is because of this reason, because we are not We have not gone to the exercise of getting rid of our ahankara, and we still not humble in our nature. We think ourselves to be great by our education. We think great by our knowledge. We think great by our birth. We think great by our appearance. All these things are stopping us to get close to God. Therefore, we need someone in between to tell us and make us understand your education is very limited. Your birth is simply because just because you're born in this family doesn't mean you're automatically eligible to attain moksha. Your appearance is going to change over a period of the time. Your wealth you cannot take over even a penny with you when you die. Therefore, none of this is going to help. So the middleman in between us and God, the devotees, the acharya, the guru is going to educate us in this knowledge and make us understand you are simply a servant of the Lord. You're simply a servant of. Therefore, the devotees reminds us constantly, Prabhuji, understand that's what life is. But Krishna is there to protect us. Krishna is there to protect us. Have faith in Krishna. He will save all of us. You just simply chant. You simply chant. Yesterday, there was, in a Bhagavatam class, there was a question has been asked one by one devotee. And the speaker, Dayasundar Mataji, she was telling that, problems will be there. But the problems are meant for us to remember Krishna all the time. The same thing, you can see how beautiful it is. When we are in the association of the devotees tell the same thing. And they reminds us about Krishna. Have faith in Krishna. At any given time, do not give up the devotional service. At any given time, do not give up chanting the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have a fist, we have a fight with God. We have a fight with God, and we lost that temporarily. We lost that relationship with God. Of course, the Paramatma Jivatma relationship cannot be cut at any point of time. But we are not in good terms with God. We are not with good terms. Why we are not in good terms with God? Say a merchant. A merchant has been. He travels. He has a family. He got married, and recently he got a son, a boy. But what happened is that as soon as he got his son, he has to travel. The merchant goes in the ship, crosses many oceans, travel different countries, sells his goods, and come back home. Sometimes the travel takes a week, sometimes it takes a month, sometimes they come after 1 year. What happened is that a merchant who got recently a child, he has to travel on his business. He traveled, he never came back home for several years. Somehow or the other, the merchant settled somewhere else, or somehow something happened, he never came back home. But the son who grew up, he picked up the business, he started doing the business. He also became a great merchant. One fine day, the son was traveling, and that father who was a merchant who never met each other, never know each other, they all came to the same place. When they came to the same place, there was a competition between both of them. They were trying to sell their goods to the person in the city, and they got into an argument. They got into a fight, and they got into such a point where they removed the sword from they removed the sword and ready to fight and cut off each of their head, chop off their head. Understand who's fighting? It is the father and son, the merchant father and the son. The only thing is that the son doesn't know it is his father, and the son doesn't know that merchant, the old man, is actually his father, and merchant doesn't know that this is my own son. They didn't know each other, but they were trying to chop each other and die on spot. At that point of time, the person who knows the history of this father and son comes there. He comes there. He said, "Hey, stop! Put down your sword. Put down. Do you guys know who you are? Can you look at each other's face for a moment?" They were so angry, and they were just, "What are you talking? Get out of here! No. Look at your face first." And the father started looking at the son's face. That merchant, the old merchant, started looking this young merchant face, and the young merchant started looking the old merchant face. They said, "Hey, there's some resemblance here. His nose looks like my nose. His ears looks like little bit of my, overall it looks like me. If I was that old man is thinking, when I was young, I remember I was exactly like this boy. And a young man is telling, if I become old, I may be looking like this man. Then the common person who was there was telling them to drop this one. He said, hey guys, understand whom you're fighting with. That he said to the old man, this is your son. Hey, this is your father. Remember, you left the place and you never came? He's your, and the father just pours out tears uncontrollably. He just cries and he couldn't control his emotion. The son was been eagerly wanting to know and meet his father. He's just pouring his tears, and they both started embracing each other with love, and they couldn't control their emotions so much so. Now the question is, it's not that they become son and father in this year, at this point, at this tithi, on this muhurtam. They have been father and son forever. But the only thing is, they don't know their relationship. They didn't know their relationship until this point when a devotee came in their life, a common man came in their life and said, hey, this is your father, this is your son. That's all. That's all. The analogy over here has to be taken lighter. For the one person who knows everyone is Krishna. Krishna is not going to forget that at one point he forgot that we are all Jivatmas, his son. Not like that. Just take it as a light analogy, as a metaphor here to understand the main point here. Therefore, when we are in the connection of devotees, therefore we really need this middleman between us and God to establish that relationship of father and son. When that relationship has been established, the devotee reminds us the relationship, then we start understanding, oh my God, I've been throughout my life, I've been thinking he's my father, she's my mother, he's my brother, he's my sister, she's my wife, he's my husband, this is my son, that is my daughter, he's my uncle, that is my aunt. I've been thinking all these things, but there's one person who's been always related to me. That relationship has never changed throughout my life. That is Krishna. That is Krishna. Therefore, the guru or the devotee comes in our life. He reminds us the lost relationship to us, so that we can start loving Krishna. At any given time of life, when we go through situations in our life, we have to take the shelter of devotees. When we take shelter of devotees, and devotees, and devotees, and that tvadbhṛtyabhṛtyaparicāraka bhṛtyasya idaṃ smara lōkanātha, then Krishna will help us directly. He will help us directly. When we are not in the association of the devotees, Krishna is least worried about us. This is a very important point. We have to be in the association of the devotees, number one. Being in the association of the devotees simply not enough. In the association of the devotees, we serve the devotees is an important factor. Please hear this one. We all may be in the association of the devotees, but the question is, are we making use of this association by serving the devotee? That is, second part is very important. If the second part is not applied in our practice of Krishna consciousness, whether you have association of the devotees or doesn't have the association of the devotees, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Therefore, it's like, if an example can be given, say there's a flower, lotus flower, for any flower for that matter, just let's take a lotus flower here. We all know for the lotus flower to nourish and grow and blossom, there are two things important. What are the two things? It needs light, it needs water. For any flower to blossom, nourish and blossom, water is important, light is important. Now, just let's start again. The lotus flower needs light. That means what? It needs the heat. It needs some heat, which that heat of sun cannot be replaced by any other artificial heat. We cannot just simply take a lotus flower and then put it under a 1,000 watts bulb light. You just pull it out from the water and then keep it in front of the 1,000 watt or keep it in front of the sun for that matter. You take a flower out of the pond, pull it out, and then keep it close to the sun and at the top, when the sun is on the top, keep it in the front. What's going to happen to the flower? What is going to happen to the flower? It dries up. The flowers taken out of the pond will dry up. It dries up. Therefore, we should know, that's one aspect, right? But now what I'm doing is let that flower be in the pond, and then let me provide some artificial ways of light, or cut off the light. Just cut off the light. Let's do this. Let's cut off the light. What's going to happen? Water is there, but there is no light. Even that time, the flower is going to die. Flower will die. Therefore, it is important that we should understand that sunlight is like Krishna. The pond where the flower is like in the satsanga, association of the devotees. Association of the devotees. If we try to take the flower off the pond, that is off the association of the devotees, and keep it in front of the sun, which is Krishna, Krishna will dry us up. That's true. Krishna will dry us up. Whereas the same Krishna will make us narration blossom if we are in the pond called in the association of the devotees. Therefore, it is important to have the association of the devotees. And when we are in the association of the devotees, we make use of the association of devotees by serving the devotees. It's an important point. Among the devotees and among the Krishna, we should know one important thing. Who is great? Is Krishna great or devotees great? Is Krishna great or a guru is great? Who is great? Who is great? The point we can understand this is by taking another example. Say you have a silver jewelry and you have a golden jewelry, a necklace, silver necklace, and you have a gold necklace. Now consider that Krishna is like a silver necklace, and consider Guru as a gold necklace. Now I'm asking a question, which is greater? We all are going to tell, well, obviously gold has more value than silver, therefore gold necklace is greater, therefore Guru is greater. Very good. Guru is greater. Krishna is like silver because why? He has two hetus, moksha hetu, bandham. Bandham and moksham. Karma hetu, moksha hetu. Krishna is categorized into silver because he puts us into this world and he can also deliver from this world. Therefore, he is doing both of these things. He is considered to be silver. Whereas a devotee, whereas an acharya, whereas a guru is considered to be gold because he doesn't put us into a bandham of this world, into the samsara. He is helping us to deliver from this samsara, moksha hetu. Therefore, guru is considered to be gold, whereas Krishna is considered to be silver. But let's hold on. Now let's change the perspective of this whole thing. If I am telling you, so if you're going to a marriage, and then in the marriage I am going and you are going, and to the marriage couple I am giving a silver ring to the married couple. For the boy and girl, I'm giving a silver ring, and one of you are coming and opening a box and giving them two boxes of ring, which is golden ring. Now, which is greater? The one that I gave, silver ring, is greater, or the one you gave, which is gold ring, is greater? Obviously, the gold ring is valuable, more value, it has more value. Therefore, gold is greater, right? Now, what we have to understand is Krishna being the silver, Guru is being gold. Who gave us Guru in our life? Who gave us Guru in our life? It is Krishna who gives us Guru in our life. The one who gives valuable thing is considered to be greater person. Just now we saw silver ring, gold ring. The one who gave the gold ring is greater than the one who gave the silver ring. Even though Krishna is said to be silver, but then what he gave to us is gold. In that sense, Krishna is greater. This can go on whether Krishna is great or Guru is great or Krishna is great, but one cannot exist without the other one. Both are great and both are needed in our life. But what Krishna says to us is, you are my devotee. You are accepted by me only if you are a devotee of my devotee. And then the biggest example, wonderful example that we can learn, the best example is from Ramayana, that is Shatrughna. Shatrughna is considered to be the devotee of a devotee, whereas in Ramayana, the four brothers, Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrughna. Rama, of course, the supreme Purushottama. Rama's devotee is Bharata. Lakshmana is the devotee of Rama. And Lakshmana was serving Rama directly, in person. Bharata was serving, also devotee of Rama, was serving Rama in Rama's absence. But there's one more personality who was called Shatrughna, because he has killed a greatest enemy. What is his enemy? His greatest enemy is being a bhakta of Rama. What? Killing the attitude of being a bhakta of Rama. I'm going to kill my bhakti towards Rama. Who wants to do this one? Who wants to do this one? Can any one of us say that I want to kill my bhakti of Krishna bhakti, I want to kill my Krishna bhakti, I'm going to kill my Rama bhakti? One who has achieved or able to kill or suppress the bhakti towards Rama is Shatrughna, the greatest enemy. Why? Because his Rama bhakti will become an hindrance to the devotee bhakti. Who is that? Bharata was Rama bhakta. If Shatrughna was also a Rama bhakta, then he misses an opportunity to serve the Rama bhakta who is Bharata. Therefore, he suppressed, he killed Rama bhakti and he developed Bharata bhakti. Therefore, Shatrughna is the greatest example of servant, where he felt, he exhibited that serving Bharata, who is a devotee of Rama, is more greater than serving Rama directly. Therefore, as a Vaishnavas, as a practitioner of Krishna consciousness, as a devotee, the thing that we need to learn in our life is to not talk bad about devotees. We have no rights to talk bad about devotees. And what authority do we have to judge other people? Unless you've been given a position, unless you are in a leadership role, unless you are matured enough, unless you are a guru, unless you are a mentor, we have no rights to talk about other devotees. The best thing, if you cannot talk good about other devotees, the best thing is to not to talk bad about anyone. In other words, if you cannot do any good things in your life, at least don't do bad things in your life. Therefore, Krishna will not like, especially if we do these things. But the best thing that we can get a quicker attention of Krishna's mercy is by serving the devotees, by worshipping the devotees, by valuing the presence and association of the devotees and becoming the servant of, I am directly serving the temple president. Some may be thinking, I am directly serving the GBC, I'm directly serving the temple president. Well, it is good. But then greater than that is, you serve that person who is serving the temple president. You serve the person who is serving the servant of the temple president's servant. You just go lower and lower and lower. You serve that person and become a servant of servant. When we take that lowest position in Krishna eyes, he is going to put us in the topest position. Therefore, we apply this principle, this sloka in our life very seriously. And R was emphasizing, unless and until you apply this principle, unless and until you practice this one, we are not called Vaishnavas. We are not Krishna's devotees because Krishna is not going to accept us. Therefore, Alvar is telling, my dear Krishna, please, 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 your anugraham is needed to me. Please remember me as your devotee's devotee, not as your devotee. Let me be your devotees, 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 devotees. And that is the phalam. That is the phalam that I'm asking you. That is what my prarthana is. I need your anugraha. mat-janmanaḥ phalamidaṃ madhukaiṭabhāre matprārthanīyamadanugraha eva esha eva tvadbhṛtyabhṛtyaparicāraka bhṛtyasya bhṛtya idaṃ smara lōkanātha. Alvar Trudigile Sharanam. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.